Welcome to Beyond the Workout with your host, Eric Dunstan. Hello, everyone. This is Coach E. I just want you to know that anything you hear on Beyond the Workout podcast is just information only. It is not a diagnosis for your issues. So anything you hear for well being, nutrition, fitness, exercise, any of those things, just take it that way as information. If you need help for a specific situation, please seek a professional. See your doctor, see a professional personal trainer, and they will diagnose your issues and they will take care of you. All right, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another show of Beyond the Workout. It is me, Coach E, Eric Dunstan, and I am looking forward to this show because it is discussing a topic that is near and dear to me, but is probably far-fetched for a lot of people. And I guess you could tell in the show title, we're going to be talking about steady state cardio. Yes, I'm talking about the treadmill walk, the elliptical, cruising on that elliptical, using one of my favorites, this Stairmaster, or as my wife calls it, the Stair Monster. A lot of people think that using such equipment is boring. They think it's outdated, but that's not true. It all still works. And especially for those of you like me, you're over the age of 50 and you're trying to stay healthy without beating your body up. Well, a lot of people think when you use that Stairmaster, you're beating your body up, but you're not. We can make all of this work for you. And speaking of it working for you, if you are ready to try an exercise program out, if you are ready to be coached by someone like me, I encourage you to try my Better Fitness program. It is online. It's an online fitness program that I've designed that can help you, especially over 50, do everything you need from the comforts of your home with the equipment that you have, because we focus on each aspect of your fitness and your health using this Better Fitness program. I got the links all in the show notes. If the links don't work, you can do the little copy and paste thing of like my website, or you see my email address. Just come on in and hit me up. You can DM me right here, even on social media. So when I talk about the uh, cardiovascular equipment, why I think it's one of the best things to use, because I've been using it for most of my life. Even when I was a competitive amateur bodybuilder, I've been using it. And I've gotten off of it because I felt like, well, I didn't have good equipment to use. I had an older elliptical. It wasn't always fun to use. But if you have access to a gym where you can use a variety of pieces of equipment, or you find one you really love, go with that one. Use it, stick with it, and let's work on how we can make progress with that. Now, I'll give you an example with my experience. My favorite cardiovascular piece of equipment is the Stairmaster. I don't know why, but I just love using it. And I really feel trained after using it. And I was trying different levels on fat burn. So I would do fat burn level one for a couple of weeks, then I'd bump up to level two and then level three. But once I started getting to level three, it felt like the results I was trying to get were going backwards. I wasn't getting to where I wanted to, far as my my look. Just didn't feel like I was burning anything. So I think what I was doing is actually stressing the body out. So what I decided to do is monitor my heart rate and just see if that can get better, but by staying on a fitness level that was more comfortable with me, which was fat burn level one. Now I'll tell you, when you think about seeing progress here, when I started after a while of not doing steady state cardio, I was doing fat burn level one, and I was heart rate at some point was getting closer or sometimes over 150 beats per minute. but it stayed just right there, like 149, 150. It got to 152 and 153. It would fluctuate there. So I'm gonna say I averaged about 150 beats per minute. Now, when I do the calculation at my age, my heart rate should be between 136 and 140 beats per minute at 85% of my max. I shouldn't be going up to that high, especially anything near 160 beats per minute. So I decided to stay consistent, stay regular at doing this Stairmaster on Fat Burn Level 1. Now, my average heart rate throughout the entire session of 20, 30 minutes of cardio on that machine is 134 to 140 beats per minute. I am right there at my range because I kept going. I kept consistent. And now that drop in the heart rate shows progress. It means that my cardiovascular system is becoming more efficient. And that means I don't have to push as hard to get the same results. And I feel better while I'm doing the workout and after I finish. In fact, I could tell you I'm doing better while using it because just recently, about 10 minutes into my workout on the Stairmaster, I carried on a conversation with somebody that was on a treadmill. It was unexpected. It was random. We just started having this conversation. I did a 30-minute Stairmaster session. About, like I say, about 10 minutes in, we started this conversation up until the end of my workout, including the cool down. So it was probably 20, 25-minute conversation while using the Stairmaster in proper form, being able to have a conversation. Oh, that's key to knowing about your exertion on the machine. So we're going to get into that. But now I want to talk about, using the machine. I always talk to people about getting on the uh, elliptical, elliptical, not elliptical, but the treadmill and the Stairmaster and being safe when you're on it. So I'll talk about the Stairmaster real quick about being safe. You might see people turn around backwards on the Stairmaster. Don't do that. What's the purpose? Just build variety? No, you don't need that. And plus it's not typically safe. And also when you're on it, you see a lot of people lean onto their elbows. I'm sorry, their forearms on the machine. Not safe for the lower back. Don't do that. And know where the safety feature is, like the quick shut off. That quick shut off on the Stairmaster is like usually a big red button or on the handle of a stop button. If you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling like something is going to happen to you health wise, and shut that machine off quickly and get off of it quickly. With the Stairmaster, I already talked about. With the treadmill, it usually has a safety clip because it disengages the unit if you were to fall off. You might get distracted, look down, something might fall, you might go to reach for it, and it kicks you off the machine. You don't want that to happen. So put the clip on. The clip is usually not intrusive. You can just put it on, ignore it. Once you go off the machine, it quickly shuts off. If you were to end up face planting, the machine will be stopped by the time your face hit that belt. Hopefully this just never happens. I always just tell people think about the safety features first of the equipment, know the features, and then go from there. But I had talked to you, I was mentioned to you about me knowing my heart rate and the little simple formula that I use. It's uh, a formula that's not science-based, but it's something that you can use as a average consumer of the equipment that you don't have to overthink to know where your cardiovascular level should be as far as your heart rate. Now, I've used this with a lot of people so they can know this is the area you want to stay in when you do your cardio work, knowing your heart rate. It is taking 220 minus your age times 85%. Now, 85% is just just a little bit, 15% below your max that you want to go. So if let's just say you're 60 years old and you take 220 minus your age. That comes to a 160. Now, 85% of 160 is 136. So you want to say, okay, let me stay within that range, 136 beats per minute as I'm using an elliptical, as I'm using a Stairmaster, or as I'm using a treadmill. Now, a lot of us don't have these smart watches like the Google Watch or the Apple Watch or a Fitbit to monitor. If you don't have that, most people do have it. I shouldn't say a lot of people don't have it, but most people have that. Or they'll use a chest strap that signals to a watch. That's old school. Um, if you have that, just turn that on and monitor your heart rate that way. But the most machines have these little silver plates on the handles that can monitor your heart rate as well. So every once in a while, every few minutes, not every few minutes, but every once in a while you're doing the workout, hold on to those handles for a few seconds just to see what the heart rate is when it boop, pops up to see where your range is. And especially like midway through the work, once you've been doing a lot of work, hit that mid-range point, see where your heart is. Then toward the end, before it cools down, see where your heart rate is. And then take a mental record of that, or write it down, or type it in the notes of your phone. And every time you want to see if that number starts to decline, every time you do that same level on that same piece of equipment to know that your cardiovascular system is getting better. So the one thing you want to do when you're exerting yourself on a piece of equipment, you don't want to go all out. You don't want to feel challenged. You don't want to feel wiped out. That's why I say you want to stay at 85%. And one way to test that, you want to stay at 85% of your heart rate zone. One way to know if you're okay is if you can carry on a conversation. If you can talk while you're using the Stairmaster, using the treadmill, using the elliptical, you're pretty much okay. Even if you're sweating, if you feel like you're exerting yourself, but you can still talk, you're in a decent zone. So that's good. And I hope you can continue to be consistent with that so you can get better, my program, get better at your cardio health. So I want to break down some myths around cardio. And as I was coming up in the competitive world, bodybuilding, I kind of avoided cardio because of this first myth. It says cardio kills muscle, it burns your muscle. You can't grow your muscles when you use cardio. That's not true. If you're eating right and you're lifting your weights, then you're not going to lose your muscle. What you're doing with the cardio, which are the heart and lung muscles, you're building the endurance in your body. It shouldn't take away from your muscles. It should be adding to your muscles. So I do want you to just forget that myth, and especially if you're into muscle building, keep doing your cardio. It is definitely beneficial for you. Now, when I say steady state cardio, and using this equipment, I'm not just saying only use a treadmill or elliptical or stairmaster. There are other pieces of equipment you can use. You can use a rower. You can use a stationary bike. You can use a recumbent bike. You can even go out and walk in your neighborhood. But you have to make sure each time you're walking outside that you're making progress. So let's just say a certain section of your neighborhood took you 20 minutes to walk. Can the next time you make it in 19 minutes, or the next time make it in 18 minutes? That's how you know you're building up your endurance. And then see what your heart rate is after the 20-minute one first time. Then after 19 minutes, is your heart rate going up or is it coming down? And that's a good plan to follow if you're doing outdoor walking, which is on a good day is really healthy for you, and you should try that. Now, another myth is only HIT works, the high intensity interval training workouts. I've heard this a lot, and to say only that works, no, it does work. It's a good program to follow, but is that the only thing that works for you? No, because steady state cardio is good for you because it's sustainable. You could just always go in there and do that same routine. It's programmed for you, and it's not too much to think about. You just go in and do your routine and get off, go, and you're fine. Now, when it comes to doing like HIIT workouts and things like that, you need someone like me to guide you, to give you some templates to follow, some exercise programs to follow. And then we got to work on knowing the proper form. Even though you have to know about proper form when you're using steady state equipment, it's not usually as complicated as doing HIIT workouts because there are a variety of those to choose from. But steady state is more joint friendly, it's sustainable, and especially for us over 50 years old. So I have a one more myth buster here, and it is the that you need an hour on the cardio equipment. That No, you don't need an hour. To me, that would be boring unless you have a movie you can watch. But no, with me, I rarely go over 30 minutes, but it includes a 5 minute cool down because that's how these machines are set with cool downs of 5 minutes. So when I get off the machine, it says 35 minutes, but it's been a 30-minute workout on the cardio. But you just need 20 to 30 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. And that's just more than enough to get your heart healthy and to burn fat. Now, let's don't overlook the equipment itself. Like, for example, the Stairmaster. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I don't want to use it because it's bad on my knees." Actually, it's the elliptical is better for your knees, but uh, the Stairmaster, the stairs dropping, collapsing, they're a little bit mild to moderate for if you have joint problems. So they're not bad. You can use that piece of equipment. If you stand proper and just keep your legs moving, you should not have any hip or knee problems while using the Stairmaster. So go ahead and give it a try, and over time, hopefully your knees feel better. But always, before you do anything I'm saying here, consult with your doctor. Make sure your body is ready for this. Now, like I said, the elliptical is a little bit more gentler. So use that if you need it, if you have serious knee problems. And then with the treadmill, if you do an incline, a slight incline, not a drastic incline, so most pieces of equipment go to about 15-degree incline. If you stay anywhere between 5 and 7, you should be okay. That's a slightly steep incline, but it's not as a 15%. It's not as bad as 15-degree. So, like I said before, I can plan all this out for you, kind of assess what you need. We can talk about it, but all you have to do is contact me. We can go through my better fitness assessment, uh, see what your goals are, why those are your goals, why you need this, and how I can actually help you as a trainer. Like I said, my program is 100% online. So it doesn't matter where you live, as long as you have the equipment to use, even your body weight, we can make this program work, and we can make your eating portions work, and we can go through the proper recovery program so you can get the rest that you need so your body can get better while you're resting, while you're not working out, and it can heal better. So let's move on to a topic that is important to me, and I hope is important to you, far as uh, using um, steady state cardio, and that's finding out what does science say about this? What is the science behind this? So I'm not a big science person, but if you can show me studies that says this, and it has had maybe several participants to see certain results, I'm usually appreciative of that. I feel like that's something that will encourage me to try a certain exercise because I know if it worked for that many people, it's likely to work for me. But let's just look at a little bit of science behind doing steady state cardio. So maybe to encourage you to do it more consistently. So I don't know if you know about the VO2 max. It's your ability to use oxygen, your body to use oxygen while you're going through an intense workout. So wouldn't it be better if that was improved significantly? If that was better, your body's ability to absorb oxygen was improved? Well, that can be improved and helped when you do steady state cardio on a Stairmaster, treadmill, or elliptical. So definitely improve our VO2 max. And then one that's near and dear to me is the resting heart rate. I always like to see my resting heart rate is low. I was told that anything between 60 and 80 beats per minute is a good resting heart rate. Mine is typically between 53 and 60 beats. Even up to my age, I like that range because I feel like, my heart, when I'm just sitting back and relaxing, is not exerting itself. So I feel like keep doing your cardio, monitor your resting heart rate. Now, if you have a smartwatch, it usually can do that for you. Just got to go in, touch the heart monitor, scroll to the resting heart rate, and see what yours has been, while you slept if you had it on. Now, the way you test it is when you wake up, you would sit up on the side of your bed and immediately check your pulse. You just feel your pulse for 15 seconds and count the number of beats for 15 seconds, multiply it by four, and that will give you your beats per minute, because 15 times four is 60. So that'd be your 60 seconds right there. And that, that will tell you what your resting heart rate is in the morning when you get up. So you can try it that way if you don't wear your watch when you go to bed. So now another science-backed statement is that for those who are managing diabetes, steady state cardio improves your insulin sensitivity by up to 35% post-workout. So after you finish the workout, it's helpful for your insulin sensitivity. And then another one is it helps reduce your blood pressure, boosts your mood, and even sharpens mental clarity. Now, who wouldn't want that? So isn't this encouraging for us to think, oh, I need to go out and get this done and make this part of my life. So this stuff works, it's proven, it's safe, and it's sustainable. It's just a piece of equipment you have to get on, program, do your work, and go from there. So what about doing cardio versus weights? Well, I would recommend not one versus the other, but both of them together. In fact, you can do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio and then you can follow that by a short resistance training session. I mean, you can do 5, 10 minutes of some resistance training work. You can use heavy bands, you can use dumbbells, you can use your body weight. I always encourage the TRX trainer, which is a suspension strap system you can use that just uses your body weight. And you can just do maybe a couple of circuits. Like you do a full body weight circuit, maybe 2 rounds of that. And that can take you anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes after your cardio session. You can try that. So I want you to just think about using the equipment, using it with weights, train smart, be balanced. And on your non-cardio days, of course, you want to do some real good heavy weight training. And that's definitely beneficial for all of us. That's exactly what I do. And that's what the better fitness method that I and teach is built on. Doing steady work, control movements, and seeing real results. How does that sound? Okay. Well, I want to give you a quick weekly plan for doing cardio. Now, I'm gonna call it my better cardio routine for you to follow. And I want you to, if you want to write this down, if you're driving, don't write it down, or just think about it. Hopefully, it's easy to remember, or you can listen to this portion again, come back and listen to it, and write down what we're talking about. So, you want to do 3 to 5 sessions per week. You can do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I usually don't recommend you do cardio back to back, but that's up to you. Depends on what your body can handle. You want to do 20 to 30 minute sessions. You want to vary the machine settings. Now, pick a setting that maybe you can stay on for the next 2 to 3 weeks or take for the whole month, like a fat burn. or hill climb. Do that. Stay with it all the way through for the whole month and just see if your body, if your heart rate drops over time. That way it shows that you are improving. Okay? And definitely don't forget your rest and recovery. That's another part of my fitness program that I would talk about with you if we were to sit down and talk. So you want to rest, you want to recover through exercising because more isn't always better. But like I say, my better program is better for you. So anyway, if you want to stop guessing and start progressing, everything I'm talking about for us getting in touch with me is in the show notes to try out my better online fitness program. I'd love to coach you through every single part of your phase here to get to your goal, to see your cardio improve, to see your strength improve, and see your overall self improve. Okay? Well, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk to you about for today, as far as the uh, cardio routine. This thing that's always been said that it's not great to do. It's outdated, which is not true. I don't want you to avoid it. I want you to start incorporating it into your life. And definitely, if you have questions um, about, like, you know, what's best for you or how to use it, you need more answers to that. Like I say, reach out to me. And in fact, while you're here, if you want to type something in the comments, I like to know what machine you actually like to use the most and what questions you might have about the safety of that machine or the safety of your joints in using that machine. Just drop me a line again in the comment section. Send me a direct message through my email and on my website. And definitely let's sit down and talk. Okay, I've done enough talking here. I hope I've convinced you to go ahead and use that steady state cardio machine. My favorite is the Stairmaster. I hope you give it a shot too. I want you to stay out there to stay strong, get better at yourself, both inside and outside, and do well with your health. Okay, that's all for now. This is Coach E signing out. Thanks for listening to Beyond the Workout podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please be sure to check me out at ericdunston.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Physique Improvements. Take care, everyone.